I'm joined in the studio this morning by Murtala Inusah, who is our court correspondent. We call him Captain. Good morning, Captain. How are you?
Good morning, Sawa. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
How's the Thursday looking like?
Well, we can't complain.
The weather has also been a little bit moisturous.
I love the weather, except that I love it only when I'm in bed. You know, it's such a good feeling. But here we are.
You never hear it rain, but you wake up, you come out, and you notice that the whole place is.
No, you know, when you in the middle of your sleep, you wake up and you realize that it's raining. Oh, it's even the thought of it alone. I love rain, but I don't like the havoc that it causes. Yes. You know, so sometimes even in trying to sleep, when you go on YouTube, there's some rain sounds that you can use because it's very calming. Anyway, the thought of it alone is making me sleepy. Let's move on. So coming up, let's start from what happened in court yesterday. Let's begin from Kandapa versus Oliver Barker.
Yesterday, the subject matter of some 17 questions came up at the Supreme Court. In fact, 5-member panel of the Supreme Court presided over by the Chief Justice, and the other members of the panel include Justice Mariama Owusu, Justice Samuel Esiedu, Justice Yaudahu Asare, and Justice Ejay Frimpong. And then the argument from lawyers of Oliver Barker was simple. We are asking the National Security Minister to respond to some 17 questions of facts, and I mean to disclose certain documents to ensure that that defamation case at the High Court will be clearer to the courts. Now, lawyers of Oliver Barker are opposed to that, but effectively the panel was of the considered view that, look, there's no specification of the document that they are asking Kandapa to produce. And so the Supreme Court wouldn't know what to ask Honorable Kandapa to produce. Then again, it begs the question. You notice that when the 17 questions were filed at the High Court, Aban Kandapa said that based on security and national confidentiality matters, he's unable to respond to that. So if he is unable to respond to that, then on what basis is there a claim that there are no specifications to the questions that were being asked? Those are the questions that will linger in the minds of people. But in fact, the lawyers indicated that with time, they'll be able to specify then for the Supreme Court to make that determination. But the Apex Court looked at it and said they are dismissing it. Lawyers of Oliver Barker wanted a cost of 50,000 Ghana cedis. But the Supreme Court said, no, you can't come here and be asking the cost in matters of this. So that request was turned down. So in effect, that particular request, they have to come back to the High Court to follow the substantive matter in the court. But of course, in the coming days, we'll know the next line of action that Oliver Barker and his lawyers led by Dr. Justice Remsai will take in relation to this very matter. So yesterday at the Supreme Court, the panel of 5 says that the lawyers of Oliver Barker, the request, they didn't put specifics to that particular 17 questions or document that he's seeking. So that request was refused.
Okay, let's move on. Cecilia Dapa's mates.
Yes.
What happened yesterday?
From one Dapa to another Dapa. So
no, are they related?
No.
Okay.
But I'm even yet to know that for a fact. But
right.
As far as I know for now,
yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know
any
that for
relationship.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yesterday they were supposed to be in court, and out of the 7, only one person, that is Sarah Ejay, was present. You notice that the remaining 6 are in prison's custody. Apart from Sarah Ejay, who is breastfeeding, and because of that, the court has remanded her into police custody. All of them are on bail, but they haven't been able to meet their bail conditions. So for that matter, they need to be in lawful custody. And so yesterday, when the case was supposed to come on, lawyers of Patience Botwe were supposed to move a motion asking the OSP to furnish them with some document and some processes. Yesterday, Justice Marie Louise Simmons is on a training course section, so the case didn't come on. It has been adjourned to the 17th of July. So on the 17th of July, that case, it is expected to come on today for further cross-examination if yesterday's sitting had happened. But because of the training session involving the judge, they have to adjourn this case to the 17th. So yesterday, in relation to this very case, there was no show.
There was no show. Okay. Yesterday as well, during the news, I read about the adjournment of the Kwasi Nyantakyi versus Anas's case that had been adjourned for some 3 months because the legal year ends 31st July. Right.
Yes. So virtually, if your case within this period, any case that will come out, the chances are that you are likely to go in the new legal year, because just like you mentioned, today's date is 11, and in the next 20 days, because July is 31, so in the next 20 days, the judiciary, in fact the superior courts, all will be going on vacation. But of course, there will be some vacation courts that will be sitting. And so this very case involving lawyer Kwasi Nyantakyi and then Abdullahi Al-Hassan, former Northern Regional Representative of the Ghana Football Association, regarding Anas number 12. So there's a charge. The court is waiting for a court of appeal decision on an appeal filed by the states, because the court has ordered Anas to unmask to Nyantakyi, which they disagree. So yesterday, the parties were expected to apprise the court or update the court on what is the situation at the court of appeal. The court said, I'll wait for the court of appeal. So they want an outcome. Then the court did it. Justice Marie Louise Simon earlier had indicated that by April, if there was no progress in the case, she was going to discharge Nyantakyi and the other accused person. But at one point in time, there were challenges transferring the appeal processes to the court of appeal. So the court is saying that if that is the situation, it will not be fair for the court to discharge the accused person. So then let's wait now that the processes are set. And my indication, what I have been able to gather is that yes, now the lawyers of lawyer Kwasi Nyantakyi have been served with the appeal processes. What is left now is for the court of appeal to issue a hearing notice for them to come and then address them or file their processes in order. So on that score, that very case involving Nyantakyi has been adjourned to the 16th of October. Okay. And that was when they are back from the 2-month legal vacation between August and September. So this case, for the next time that it will be back in court, we have to wait to the new legal year, which begins in October this year.
Okay, yes. So these are the things, the major things that happened in court yesterday. Let's focus on today. What's coming up? Nanapia Mensa. Yes. Yesterday, you said that there was supposed to be a decision. The judge was supposed to make a decision on whether there was a submission of no case to answer, right? So
yesterday, like you mentioned, Justice Ernest Usudapa was expected to deliver his ruling on the submission of no case as to whether or not there is a question for NAM1 to answer in relation to the witnesses that have been called by the prosecution, 9 of them. So the court will evaluate, look at their testimony on the face of it. The court is not going to examine that in institute, but on the face of it. If there are certain things that tickles the mind of the court out, the court will want some answers from that. If the court finds that to be the situation, then NAM1 will be called upon to answer. But yesterday, we were told that Justice Ernest Usudapa is involved, and I know he's a justice of the Court of Appeal. So he's presiding over these cases. An additional High Court judge was involved in a panel session at the Court of Appeal. So this case was rescheduled to today. So today, we expect NAM1 to know his fate as to whether he will go home free or the court will ask him to open his defense. So it's just like the football match that took place between England and the Netherlands yesterday. So
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No,
then you missed.
I didn't watch
one
it.
country was going to progress and the other was going to. So today, we'll know that NAM1 will come home free, and then the men's girls customers will also have that. So that is what we do expect, one of the cases that we do expect.
Right, and you know, Murtala, just to provide a little context to that, I think that we need to explain what a submission of no case or what the ruling is, depending on what the outcome is going to be. So usually in criminal trials, you know, the prosecution bears the duty to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the accused person committed the crime, right? And it's mostly is the case, and this is a very clear example of one.
Absolutely.
And then after the prosecution is done proving its case, the court will have to determine whether they have led enough or sufficient evidence for the accused person to answer. And that is what the judge is expected to rule on. If the judge determines that the prosecution has not led sufficient evidence for the accused person to answer to, then they will discharge and acquit the accused person. If not, the accused person is invited to open his defense, and after all of that, the courts will then determine whether the accused person is guilty or not, right?
Yes.
Okay,
so today is not for the court to determine whether number. So
precisely.
Many people are of the view that once you are being called upon to open your defense, it means you're guilty.
Automatically guilty. That's not what it is. Yes.
Because the court now wants to have a balanced testimony to be able to weigh who is right and who is wrong.
Right.
Yes.
So that's it. Also coming up today is the ambulance case, the famous, the most popular witness
and the man
ever.
on your screen,
Richard Jakpa.
Richard Jakpa. It's all over. In fact, the beginning of this case, it was one person that was barely known. All the big name that you can mention is Dr. Kasila Tufosin and Dr. Sylvester Ademana. Then, just when he was in the witness box testifying, then boom, it was all over and he became the star man. So today, Mr. Richard Jakpa, noticed that the Attorney General had 4 clear days to subject him to cross-examination, and in the last court sitting, that cross-examination came to an end. And you heard Mr. Jakpa, anytime the case comes up, he will give you interview, he will tell you his mind and all that. And it's been very interesting. So now he has been discharged from the witness box, meaning that he no longer will speak again. But he said he has 8 witnesses to call. And today, he's calling the very first of his 8 witnesses. And guess who that person is? The chief executive of Big C General Tradings, Sardashti. He is the one that we expect in court today as the first defense witness for businessman Richard Jakpa. The witness, we were being told at the last court sitting that will not be in court presently. So he rather would join via video link.
Okay.
And so that is what we do expect today. But what is clear is that Mr. Richard Jakpa is now calling witnesses, and the first of the 8 will be in court today, who happen to be the representative of Big C General Trading, the company of which he was the local agent here that led to the purchase of the ambulances in question.
Okay. And then finally, the side chick case. It's just sad to call it the side chick case, but yeah, that's what it's known for. Yeah. What's expected to happen today?
She has won a lantern not to call her side chick. So
she has won lantern not to call her.
That's the lantern's favorite case in court. So yeah, so I told you last Monday that this case was coming on. It didn't happen on Monday, but today it is happening. And lawyers of Kwasi are expected to subject the investigator who was subpoenaed to come to court to testify by lawyers of Deborah Sarah Madabla, who will have their turn to cross-examine him before justice.
Who are her lawyers?
Yes.
Who are her lawyers?
Muhammad Atta is the one leading her to fight her case.
Okay.
And so the lawyers of Kwasi will be in court today, and then that will be done before Justice John Bosco Nabarese. So this case is being fixed for 1 p.m. So at 1 p.m. they'll be back in court and then come and conduct the business of the day. They will know what the direction of the court will be. So these are the cases that we do expect today happening.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Murtala Inusah is our court correspondent, and that'll be it for our conversations in court today. Stay